So what do you think are the most impactful Pokemon generations? Each and every generation added new mechanics and new things to add on from the last generation. I'm talking stuff like abilities from Gen 3, the new typings or breeding in Gen 2, the whole last open world of Gen 9. I'm going to be listing them from bottom to top. So for number 9, we have Generation 8. Gen 8 was comprised of Pokemon Sword and Shield, Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, and Legends Arceus, the absolute GOAT. Now, as much as I love Arceus, I can't cap and say that Gen 8 is not the least impactful Pokemon generation. If we ignore Arceus completely, Gen 8 just didn't add anything that was that impactful. I think the biggest thing was the wild area, which is kind of like a prelude to the actual open world of Gen 9. And while I think the wild area was good, they didn't really do that much crazy stuff with it. They also added the Dynamax gimmick, which I do still think is better than Z moves. At the very least, it was well balanced for VGC. But at the end of the day, Dynamax didn't come back to Gen 9, so obviously I can't consider it super impactful. Raid battles were impactful. They were enhanced for Gen 9. Nature Mints were great for building Pokemon. I think the moral of the story for Gen 8, specifically Sword and Shield, is that they focused a lot on the competitive scene. And as a competitive battler myself, I did love that. But at the end of the day, Pokemon is a much bigger casual game than a competitive game. And it's still a million times easier to build Pokemon in Pokemon Showdown. As a reminder, this list is not based on my enjoyment of the game, but rather the games that I believe are the most impactful to the series. So, what enhanced the series the most? And BDSP is the bottom barrel of that. I mean, BDSP are my least favorite Pokemon games, but that's besides the point. They just didn't do anything for Gen 8. It didn't enhance anything. They were soulless remakes without anything that made Gen 4 fun. Nothing that was introduced in BDSP came to Scarlet and Violet, so it's not impactful. Now, the cream of the crop of this generation is definitely Legends Arceus. So unlike BDSP, Arceus did have a ton of new additions that were added to Scarlet and Violet. Everything about riding Miraidon or Koraidon in Scarlet and Violet was taken straight out of Arceus. A lot of the smaller things, like being able to reteach moves right from the menu, was taken from Arceus. It took the wild area to the next level, almost making it a full open world. Not quite, but close. And most importantly, it was the first ever Pokemon game to have all the Pokemon just in the overworld. You see that Pokemon, you catch that crap. You don't even have to enter a battle to catch it. Arceus is my second favorite Pokemon game of all time, but it doesn't carry Gen 8 anything higher than last place, specifically because Scarlet and Violet didn't take as much as they should have from Arceus. If Gen 10 comes around and they do pull a lot more from Arceus, then I would change the ranking. But as of right now, Pokemon has steered clear from a lot of the directions in Arceus, so it's not necessarily super impactful. Now, I think this generation could fight Gen 7 for last place, but I'm going to talk about in the next video why I think 7 just edges out Gen 8.